Okay, good afternoon. This is Jupiter Exile. We're going live again with Dark Souls 3 SL1 run. Here we go. I was in a bind trying to get this set up. I found that my computer, after an update, had lost connection with my headset. I had to reinstall the thing. Okay, so I have realized after checking out some things for the items I'm after, I had mixed up the locations and what I had to do between a couple of items. And the mistake is that I was considering, what's it called? I was imagining the dexterity bonus ring as the thing I was targeting, but I'm actually going for the ring that gives a bonus to faith is what I'm actually after. So to get that, I need to kill Consumed King Osiros, which is over this way, and then down this elevator. Make sure that everything will let me get there peaceably, right? Oh yeah, that guy's really dead. I rode this all the way to the bottom. I can't recall if that's correct. I think I might need to jump off halfway up for good results. Well, I can certainly come out here, and I need to go that way, so it's not wrong. But let's see what happens when I do exit a little ways up. I need to send this elevator back up anyways for my inevitable death. So Osiros on SL1 is fairly tough. He's got some attacks that will straight up murder us. Okay, so with this direction, I can grab the Dragon Scale Ring, which I believe makes us less likely to take backstabs, or take less backstab damage. Yep, that's correct. I remembered that by virtue of the picture and nothing else. So as we're coming through for Osiros, we've got these two beefy guys who we would very much prefer to not deal with. And there's not a good way to open this back up or anything like that. This fellow here, we pretty much just have to make it past, and then down this staircase is the fight with Osiros. And this is a kind of freaky boss. I'm gonna let his cutscene play out first time through. Somewhat reminiscent in design of some of the kind of outsider creatures from Bloodborne.
Slaves. Finally taken notice, have you?
He's also modeled after
My beloved Ocelot.
Seath the Scaleless in several ways. The name of his child is a callback to Shanalot, the half-dragon Emerald Herald from Dark Souls 2.
For he is all
Yeah.
that
Osiros is scaleless and eyeless, and seems to cast similar sorceries, at least in his first phase. It's a haunting, awful kind of boss fight. Alright. Most of what he does in the first phase, except for that jump, everything apart from that jump we can kind of disregard. We have to watch out for his breath as well. The second phase is a lot more dangerous. We need to basically stick to him like glue for the second phase, because he gets some attacks that are really unruly. The run for this boss is not my favorite. It's basically each time we'll have to go over through here. And then we'll have to take an elevator ride. If I didn't send this elevator back up, I would have to kill some guys. Osiros uses a mix of physical damage. He has some attacks that do magic damage. He can also cause the curse status, but you shouldn't get killed by the curse status when you're at SL1. You'll get killed by damage long before that happens. Especially since a lot of the ideal SL1 armors, the light stuff, have very high curse resistance. In terms of elements, he's weakest to lightning, but we don't have the rings that would enable us to use a strong lightning axe or anything like that. So we're just going to be coming at him with physical damage like we have right now. Just have to be cautious of that knight, and we can have another attempt. Defeating this boss will give us access to 2 new areas.
Dear little Ocelot, where have you gone? Are you hiding from me? Come out.
Yeah, a lot of his attacks just kind of plainly miss.
You were born a child of dragons. What could you possibly fear?
Oh, I'm in range of that. Okay, now he's in phase 2. We need to run after him every time he moves away. This breath is a big opportunity. The boss is resistant to bleed damage, but bleed procs on him very easily. Which causes hit stun very often. You gotta watch out for that spin. That clambering attack can be deadly. And that's the boss. Basic setup for the boss on SL1 is just, if he gets distance on you at all, he becomes incredibly deadly. So we got a spot of good luck with him coming up into this little nook where he really, even if he dashes away, he's just not getting far from us. Second phase of that boss has a dash attack that's fairly difficult to dodge with the right timing and kills us from full health. So that was nice. And apparently I used a weapon special ability at some point in the middle of that. That's a bit of a misclick. Killing him will let us go to this new area down here. Let's see. I thought he was also supposed to give me a gesture, but I may be misremembering how that works. So coming down here, you have these desolate figures, kind of the ruins of the half-dragon research being performed by the Consumed King. Alright, we can 3-shot them just as easily. Is this where we acquire it? Yes, that is the Path of the Dragon emote. That is a real chest. Titanite scale. We can take the Path of the Dragon emote back to the jail in order to access a new area. This is also a real chest. So get some of this stuff. And one of these walls isn't real. I think it's this one that's right behind the chest. Yes. This is one of the most peculiar areas in Dark Souls 3. Because this is a dark reflection of Firelink Shrine, the Untended Graves. The Untended Graves are... this is a case where we have physically navigated to an alternate timeline. Just by going to another place, we're in what-if mode now. I don't want to use those Titanite chunks just yet. So there's a few things for us to gather wandering around. We've got some weird-looking guys back over there. I'm going to let them be for now. There's a couple offshoots. The enemies that do exist here are notably more dangerous. Notably. I'm not sure if that other one's going to patrol back, so I need to finish this. Thank you for dying. Very considerate. Oh, dog. Go. I was able to turn just enough to get him after that roll. Yeah, the most effective against dog. There are two effective methods to fight dogs in Dark Souls 3. You either need to preempt them, or you dodge and retaliate. Alright, and I think there's an offshoot down this way. Normally contains a Ravenous Crystal Lizard. This time through, we have 2 Ravenous Crystal Lizards. And I suppose they will wake up from that distance. Well, that's your prerogative. I forgot they had a tail smack like that. With 2 of them awake, this is a losing prospect. Yeah, so I'll just take a death there. It's fine. Many of these offshoots are unnecessary. Just get us items. I'm going to get up for a moment to use the restroom, because I've been having a whole bunch of tea. And a back. Alright. So I checked along some of the left directions there last time. I'll look along the right. Couple of dogs. Yeah, okay, that group of dogs is a lot harder to deal with coming from that angle. If it activates all 3 of them at once. So I'm just going to go kind of right down the middle. See, I think I might get more, like, Titanite chunks by going through here. It takes 12 total Titanite chunks to move an item up to the +9 level. The weapon we're using now, we don't really want to improve any further. Ah! I was about to go into the dodge, it's just a little late. Oh, this is a warm welcome to the zone. So our goal, as before, is to make it to Firelink. But rather than Udex Gundyr, we'll be facing off against Champion Gundyr, a different boss. There we go. Ah, I buffered in the wrong thing. I buffered in the swing when I should have buffered a dodge. Yeah, if you don't manage to get the backstab on these enemies, they're very tough to beat. One other trick you can do to beat them, there's a strong parry setup. It's a little difficult to show off with my current weapon set. I was going to change this anyway, so let me change something out so I can show you the parry setup, if they go into it. Just need to have the shield out. Missed it. Basically, when they go out for that retracted backwards setup, that's a strong opportunity to parry them on the way in, because their timing becomes a little obvious. There we go. Take that kill. Ugh. But yeah, these gals can certainly give some grief. I'm gonna change out my shield actually to a round shield. Doesn't really matter what kind of round shield, so long as I qualify for it in terms of the stats. There we go. Round shields have a better active frame window for parrying. Just like a little longer. So heading up over this way, we don't have the same bonfire as we did in the very beginning of the game. But I believe the same jumping puzzle's here and has something to offer for us. Yeah. We've got a few more guys to run past every time we need to reattempt this boss, compared to the original Gundyr, since our bonfire is further back. The dangerous ones are definitely these gals with the two swords. That was not a valid parry, so I didn't stagger. Unfortunately, these gals here, they will stagger a bit, but they're not going to fall over or anything. So you can get in 2 shots, but then you return to neutral state. And with the amount of damage I do, I'm not going to take them out with that. Especially since any of these missed parries takes me out of my typical damage buff. Woo! So it's in that same framework where the first hit you get on a target will stun them, but afterwards they have a poise spike. That lasts for a bit of time. We have a few messy goes with them. I can run past, that one's walked away. Okay, so this time I'm going to go for the dagger wielder on the left, who's a lot more active, a lot more quickly than any kind of rendition from earlier in the game. Casually, this section's trivial, because if you're coming here with like real level ups, okay, yeah, the jumping puzzle's not really there. As you walk in and get this. Okay, we don't need to come through and fight these guys anymore. So from here, we'll just run in and activate the boss. This boss is renowned for being pretty tough. We're going to see what we can do about that. He's mostly renowned for his second phase. His first phase is very similar to Eudex Gundyr. That's not actually parryable, so that's my mistake. Almost everything the boss does is parryable. I didn't get that timing right. Once his eyes go red, he's going to be pretty nuts. So I'm remembering that the dash attack he does with the red eyes, I think is maybe not something I can parry. But by and large, this fight is basically you need to get about 8 parries to win. You can also try to do the fight without parrying him if you're like a masochist. But this is by far the easier method to land damage on the boss. I think that one just took notice of me. I'm not sure if it's coming after me. Anyways, from this point on, we're basically just running straight to the boss every time. I think there might be some stuff down here, but... I thought I might take a hit, but it's fine. You don't have a lot of chances to use Estus during the boss fight anyway, so it, like, using Estus beforehand is not important. Right, yeah, he'll kick behind him like that. Like he's a horse. He's got a lot of follow-ups, and they're dangerous. Especially because I only really know how to parry his startups. I don't really know how to parry his follow-ups. The windows on these are pretty good. He'll always start his phase change with that dash. I need to remember what to do about it. In the short term, I think my answer is going to be to take distance and then work from there. I think dodging to his left also works and might actually be enough to get me in a hit. I don't care very much about landing hits outside of parries. The parries eclipse the hits by so much damage, it's barely noteworthy. There we go. Yeah, parry into four hits is enough to kill that enemy normally. I'm going to wait for this one to walk past so I can just run through. It did pay attention to me. Yeah, it's running. Okay. The high road on the left here is actually safer. So I'm going to do this. And then take this turn. This way I can use kind of the activation time on the hollows to give myself a good window to get through. There's not a lot of time for much else other than taking distance and just getting ready for the next parry between these attacks. Like, theoretically, I might be able to use some kind of a consumable item for a power-up, but... the punch is not parryable. That uppercut move, I'm not sure how if it's parryable or not. If you do get hit by the uppercut launch, he's just going to kill you. There's a lot of attacks like that. Don't get hit. Yeah, readjusting to the timing on phase 2 is tricky. Oh, these bots, man. I'll clean up the bot in a moment. Yeah, when they go into that long animation, it's a good time to go in for a parry. You can also do a preemptive strike at that time. Let me go ahead and clean up that bot. Get out of here. Where was I? Got disoriented. Okay, we're going this way. So we've changed out from the Karthus Milk Ring, which gives us the ordinary dodge again, instead of the pseudo-invisible dodge. We needed to put on the Knight's Ring, which gives us a strength boost, because that allows us to wield this weapon in one hand, instead of two-handed. Oh, I can't make that roll, can I? There we go. Yep. That's what I get for going for a regular hit instead of a parry. This weapon's actually pretty slow swinging, too. It's a little bit easier to land legitimate hits on him with a straight sword, just for speed's sake. But this swing time is pretty bad for Dark Souls 3. Like, back in Dark Souls 1, this is a dream swing speed. Oh, man. Yeah, interestingly enough, like the single upward sweep that this enemy type sometimes does can be avoided just by kind of casually walking around them. It is definitely an enemy you want to lock onto, though. Ugh, fighting that enemy unlocked would be a nightmare. Just cruise on through here. Ooh. This guy is really determined to backstab me. Yeah, they move at like a whole different speed when they're going for the backstab. So basically, in the first phase, he's pretty much just going to go back and forth between a couple attacks that we can parry. Also, that's what happens when we miss a parry timing in the first phase. He's going to go back and forth between these couple attacks we can parry in the first phase. In the second phase, we need to dodge a lot of other stuff in the middle to get him back into these attacks. Yeah, if we miss a parry timing, we're generally going to take damage from that, and then his follow-up will usually kill us. A lot of his attacks are not, like, lethal for one hit, even with us being at level 1. But if our health is reduced, he will kill us basically every time. I kind of want to change out the Sorcerer Robe. There we go. I just wanted something less flowy on my upper body. Let's see, maybe this too. Shadow Leggings. Sure, there we go. Shadow set's not bad looking, and it's lighter than what we were using. It's not going to be lighter than the Thrall Hood. with the way this fight goes, I'm technically best off using, like, the Master's Garb, because it's about the lightest thing I can wear, or just wearing nothing. It's not like we're going to survive hits. Okay, so I needed to go a little earlier. I was late on my parry last time. Same old start. I didn't get the back dodge in time. I was too late on the input. I think his run around to chop is the thing I need to be focused on parrying in the second phase, because I believe that is parryable. I think actually his dash might be parryable as well, like the first one he does, and that would certainly put me in a good way. The problem with that is about the spacing. That was a bad attempt. Yeah, I put myself off kilter there. It can do either the 2/ or the 3/ when it's moving towards you. See, I think I will actually change out to the Master's set. Master's attire. Master's gloves. Let's see. I think the Master doesn't have trousers, so we will use a loincloth. And 1.5. The Ragged Mask is less weighty than that. Oh man, that looks awful. Look at our pasty white body. Ugh. There we go. Classic Dark Soulsing. Clonk. Got the look now. Can't beat us. Right, I almost have enough large Titanite shards now, just by killing that guy over and over again, for the next weapon I'm going to upgrade. Because once we eventually beat this guy, there's just a very important vendor behind him. You can also, like, unlock an alternate ending and stuff for coming here. That's just not what I'm going for. The ending of the game itself doesn't matter. We're here for the journey. We're killing this guy to say we did. Gah! I noticed the parry was bad and I was trying to get into the dodge, but I couldn't do it fast enough. I think that one was a bit late. There's a bit of a show-offy thing you can do. So long as you pick a character class that starts the... Well, even if you don't pick a character class that starts the game with a shield, you can actually parry with, if the character's barehanded. So a neat little thing to try is just to sit down, boot up a copy of Dark Souls 3, and beat Udex Gundyr with your bare hands. Right, I forgot they even have that Flame Breath attack. They never use it. Yeah, if you get tuned enough to beat Champion Gundyr, you can beat Udex Gundyr with your bare hands. Let me just trigger that invincibility so I can survive. I thought that dude with the backstab might, like, take me out of the door opening animation. So I gave him a bit more space. There we go. That's why I tried to roll. Now we get to do the fight with an arrow sticking out of our shoulder. Neat. if my reaction is good enough, I can miss a parry here in the first phase and still recover. In the second phase, not really. One more parry will put him into phase. I was wrong. Okay, I went for the parry on that one, but I didn't get it, which is probably that I was too late on doing the parry. Because I need to be concerned about the hitbox he has just moving forward. I know that persistent rush forward hitbox is not parryable. Only the spin slash at the end is parryable if any part of the attack is. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep trying that, I think. No, missed that. Damage difference for not having the Lloyd ring up is rough. Well, that's 12 of those large Titanite shards. So, if we can beat Champion Gundyr, then after him, after he's downed, there is another... the Shrine Handmaiden, our typical vendor from inside of the Firelink Shrine, will be there, even in this dark version of Firelink Shrine. But she'll have a different inventory. And we want to shop from her because the dark version of her will sell us a valuable ring. That is junk. There we go. Yeah, that's also the attack we need to parry in phase 2, is that kind of attack. Good to get some experience with that. I think he can also be made to do the stab in phase 2. I don't quite recall. I think phase 2 triggers here. Nice. I'm gonna rotate a bit. Because I don't want to have my back to the wall. It could mess me up. That's still a slash. Okay. He didn't kill me after an uppercut that time. Gotcha. Okay, that was the uppercut, and the parry for it didn't click. I thought he was doing something else. And he just followed it up with a shoulder bash. That's a bummer. That was a really good pattern. And you can't rely fully on luck to get through this. Sometimes you're going to get, like, parryable after parryable in terms of his phase 2 behavior. But you have to be able to get through the bad patterns, too. Ah, the Grave Warden wrap. I actually think the Grave Warden wrap has a pretty good look. It's a little heavier. Yeah, any hit we're taking is lethal, so... So since any hit we're taking is lethal, there's like a thought of using the red Tearstone ring. That's certainly an option. The difference is, with this setup right now, if we land a bad parry, we don't die. With the red Tearstone ring setup, we will die if we make a bad parry. We'll also die if we get hit on the way into the boss room. That's a grab attack. He's got one of those too. If I remember right, he just grabs you, calls you a punk, slams you down, all that good stuff. Insults your mother. Back to the real fight. That's death? Nope. Ha! Ah, I couldn't get the parry off on that one. The shoulder charge, man. That's rough. Ah. Yeah, there's a few more things that are survivable than one might think in terms of the second phase. And so, you, like, can't relax until your body's on the floor. Absolutely. Plenty of large Titanite. This is quite the fountain of the stuff. Ugh. Alright, next run. And I can seriously hear that, like, I can seriously hear that crack in my head. Part of me, like, grimly wonders if that comes over the headset. That'd be amazing. Too early. Whoops. I didn't move close enough to him before trying to trigger the parry. Phase 2. Bad one. Dead. Dang. Yeah, he doesn't kind of square up the same way when you're in phase 2, and that can slightly change the parry timings because you've got a different angle on him. So his hitbox is gonna like come at you in a bit of a different way. I'm not sure if my parry on him was late or early that time. I think it was probably early. Yeah, I think generally speaking, if I take the damage, but I don't cause the parry, but and I don't get like ragdolled around, like if I get the poise out of the parry, but not the actual parry effect, I think that's a late parry. If I early parry, I think he just like clocks me. Oh, he did a different pattern there. little all over the place. There we go. That's interesting. He did a different pattern. I thought the roar was a guarantee. Ah, it's really hard to get out of that. When he does punch, I just need to double back roll on punch. I can't wait to react to his punch follow-up. Which is a bummer, because I think his punch follow-up can be a parryable swing. But, if I wait until he's chosen to do shoulder charge, like, I can't react to shoulder charge. I have to plan around shoulder charge. Like, I'd have to ask somebody what the actual frame data startup is for that move that he does. It's like, I don't think that's reasonably reactable by, like, human beings. You just gotta plan to not be in that spot. I also need to get the timing on parrying more of his, like, downward chops, the ones that kind of slam into the earth. I know that they're parryable because I've gotten the phase 1 parry on them. Let's go. Yeah, even out to there it works. That one you're allowed to start up the parry for really late. Or at least feels really late. So I think it's 3 parries puts him in the phase? Yeah. Kick. That was super early. I'm just not used to him, like, doing that attack raw. This has not been chosen very often. Just trying to go off the timing for his other downward chop moves. That started me into the backstab animation, which definitely screwed me over. That'll kill me. Yeah, the leap attack from that guy's a one-shot. Oh, right, it's pivoting to the other direction is where that swing misses you. It's not a left pivot, it's a right pivot where that first upward swing whiffs. That's right, Wolnir, I forgot, has the tooltip for that item is reminding me. Wolnir has a collection of crowns that is referencing the collecting of crowns from Dark Souls 2. About to say, I'm having a time with this guy. well gone by then. So, Wolnir having that reference to the Dark Souls 2 circumstances of kings and crowns and all that sort of stuff is another link in the chain, so to speak, of Dark Souls being a story about a cyclical timeline. This alternate Fire Link is also a part of that. This Fire Link that has been overtaken by Dark, such that there's like no skybox here. Right. That was such a weirdly late crossbow bolt. It's not the crossbow bolt that made me screw up the parry, I just screwed up the parry, but that was kind of funny though. This is working me up. Like, the Phase 1 is something close to leisurely. Phase 2 is just downright tense. I guess I'm allowed to start that parry really early, because I thought I might have been early on that, but it worked. It's always funny to me to see like the phantoms of other people who are playing the game, and he's like dancing around with like rapier and great shield. Who are you? Like, what is that setup? Like, there's no dex-based great shield in the game. So that build is invested in strength enough to use that great shield, but is still using a rapier. I don't think there's a strength-based thrusting sword either. Maybe he's on a faith build and neither of the weapon choices actually matter. Could be it. Leave your favorite Dark Souls 3 weapon in the comments, and then chuck it out the window, because we're playing SL1. Man, it would be so great if you could just knock him off the ledge. Ah, I missed the parry. And that was a late parry startup, so that attack is faster than I'm giving it credit for. At least I think it was a late parry startup. Not sure. I didn't check the feed fast enough. That's also a case of, like, I shouldn't be going for that kind of parry if I have less than full health. As I might have had the opportunity to heal there, I just didn't want to risk it. See, that parry, I actually took the damage on. But still got it. Yeah, sometimes those guys are eager to use that attack. So now, I'm like loosely wondering if I could just lure him to the edge and parry him back off the edge. I think he's almost never going to, like, wind up in that orientation because of the fact that he has a huge honkin' polearm. So by the time he would, like, run at you and put himself at the edge, you yourself would have to be well off into outer space. Yeah, he's definitely in no mood to get ledged. Ah, he kicked me. If it's possible, there's a video of it on the internet. Who knows? I think it's maybe a bit easier to judge what he's doing if he's not right near the edge, and I don't need to do risky stuff like standing in the charge attack. That's some lag. So, is my camera freeze? Hello? Wow, this is like lagging horribly all of a sudden. But it didn't freeze my camera. That's good on OBS. That is screwed up horribly in the past. Just hope that doesn't keep happening during the fight. Figure out if my computer is doing something. Windows 11 installed it a bit ago. It's been a mixed bag so far. I don't think the interface is like that much explicitly worse. The only issue I've ever sent to Microsoft as a report has not yet been fixed, which is that, what's it called? If I have different audio devices that are set up specifically for different apps, those settings are often not preserved. I thought that one might have been late, but we were good. The thing that's peculiar is those app preferences are still like selected if I go into the appropriate menus. It just doesn't actually do that. There we go. Let's get back in the groove. Come on. I just need to be on the timings for like 4 different types of parries, basically. That'll be phase 2. So I think it's 3 out of phase 2 and 4 in phase 2, probably. Thank you for the time. It's quite the gift. So there's 1. Here's 2. What do you want to do next? I backed up a little too much for that. Ah, I couldn't get out of there. It might be 5 parries in phase 2. Looking at the health bar, I think it's going to be just a little bit not enough. Which might mean that if I, like, use an item at the right time, I might be able to cut it short. If he's vulnerable to anything, I'm betting it's lightning. I mean, it's probably either lightning or fire, right? Let me try fire. I think he might be loosely abyssal. The pine bundles, as opposed to the resin, are faster to use. So I'm thinking I might be able to get this done in a phase transition or after a bad attack. Because, like, adding something during the first phase is meaningless. It's only 3 parries to get him out of the first phase anyway. I'm not going to change the number of parries. But it looks to me, just by judging the health bar, I think it's going to take 5 parries with my current damage in his phase 2, unless I do something to increase the damage ever so slightly. I mean, another thing I could do is I could take this weapon up to +9 from its current +8. And that would make me take 1 less attack, but I'd be using all the Titanite chunks that I want to use for other things. I've only got 7 Titanite chunks, and I think it's 6 to take the weapon to +9. Alright, calm down, buddy. So after the 3rd parry, I'm going to use the Pine Bundle. Okay, let's get some good distance. Yeah, it's super fast. Ah, alright. I need to buy more pine bundles. Or like bundles in general. I've only got 3 for now. So after the next like 3 attempts, I'll run back, burn some souls, and buy more. I still took damage on that. I think that that attack is like a double attack. And I think you can take the first hit and get the successful parry on the second hit. Or something like that. I'm trying to figure out exactly how that works in that peculiar way. Let's see. So, earlier today, I was booting up Inscription for a bit longer offline. And I solved a bit of puzzle. And made it to the next section of the game. And that was where I stopped it and said, no, I should really stream this. Because it transitioned the entire game style. So we have this like startup where you're at the table in this one room to escape. Basically, I found the solution to get through the door of that room. And when I got through the door, there was the missing button from my menu in order to restart the game. But restarting the game doesn't put me in the cabin. It puts me in like kind of an 8-bit setup for the game Inscription, or like what is the game Inscription within the game of Inscription. That was actually parryable, so I'm... Yep. Notably, the pine bundle's already worn out, so that's not worthwhile. It's basically only if I'm going to do the hits right then. Shoot! That attack is not parryable. I had the timing correct for it, too. It's just not a parryable attack. So yeah, pine bundle, not important. I definitely don't have the time to use a full-blown pine resin. I think what I need to do here is get 4 parries on him in phase 2, and then attack him once during his get-up from the parry. Because I think it's that kind of margin. That like 1 or 2 errant hits will close the gap. So, the storytelling of Inscription is very interesting to me, because you start the game from kind of a storytelling layer that is like a found footage thingamajig, and you get a little glimpse of the veneer of that initially. And then the first time you beat the game, it takes you back out to the found footage layer and gives you some more explanation. And the game you are playing is like expected to be a second layer where you're playing a game, but actually you're playing on the 3rd layer, and after you solve certain puzzles you move back up to the 2nd layer of it, which is weird. So you play the game and you think you're playing a game within a game, but you're playing a game within a game within a game. Super, super nutty. So I revealed the 2nd layer to myself, and it turns out that I've only been playing with like 2 out of 4 resources that are available within the card game. That was late. He hit me with the rocks. Sometimes that upwards attack sends like a random rock spray. And I just happened to be where a rock was, which has not happened for any of these other attempts yet, but I've always known it could happen. That's a bummer, though. Yeah, I really can't afford to miss these parries in Phase 2. It's very nice that I have the time to whip 2 swings and still get that parry off. Very nice. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be fitting in more of Inscription. I might make it a Wednesday game. This Wednesday, however, I'm going to be continuing to play. What's it called? Outer Wilds: Echo of the Eye, and I'm not sure if I'll be finished with it in the most immediate in that setting on in that sitting on Wednesday. It seems as though there's a good bit of game left there. Just as well to be out of range for that. I wasn't sure I had the timing right anyway. My understanding of the timing for a lot of these is based on my angle relative to the boss. So when the angle changes, it gets weird. He does not like to use that thrusting attack very much in the second phase, which is a bummer. Because I'm real good at parrying that one. There we go. Well, ran out of space for the recording, so let's hope the stream stays good. Just as I say that, he starts using this attack more. That'll kill? Not quite, because the heal kicked in. That'll kill, because I forgot he can do that follow-up. Let me get this window out of the way so I can get back to monitoring the stream. Okay. Yeah, I forgot he can go into a charge out of a combo. Champion Gundyr is incredibly fluid about all of his attack strings. A lot of things just kind of blend into one another. I think he might have like a stance-based AI or something. I wasn't certain that was going to connect after the enemy moved. See, I think he just has a stance-based AI and chooses if he wants to do more attacks or pause. I have no idea. I'd actually be fascinated to see like a breakdown or flowchart of what the AI looks like for some of these more aggressive enemies. Some fun factoids, you can actually parry enemies without like looking at them or facing them. So one popular challenge or video for people to do online is like they fight Champion Gundyr and they just parry absolutely everything he does, but in between the parries they're like not facing him, they're pointing down, they're doing all these other things. It's kind of amusing. I'm not that good, I just want to kill the boss. There we go. So that's one parry. There's two. That got me before I could get the heal off. So healing in his second phase is incredibly hard. But if I've missed a parry, I kind of have to. But you can't tell when a string ends, so you don't know when it's actually going to be safe to parry. I should have gone for the yeah, safe for the heal. I should have gone for the heal after he performed the uppercut, because his follow-ups to the uppercut don't move him into my range. There we go. So I've been seeing more and more people playing Darkest Dungeon 2, and it looks good. I'm pretty hyped for it, but I really don't care to play it on the Epic Store, because I don't care to play anything on the Epic Store, like, no matter what it is. Alright, I can heal when I first enter the arena, so that's fine. Yeah, you do all that. Okay, there's his phase 1. I think the phase 1 of this boss is like an extension on the boss run. It's so basic compared to what you're dealing with. There's 1. There's 2. Don't want to rotate right. There's 3. It'll definitely be 5. There's 4. Yeah, 1 hit won't kill him at that health total. There we go. Stay down! Alright. Whew! There's the fight. We get the Black Knight Glaive. Just maybe a cool weapon for people with stats and clothing. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, especially for Darkest Dungeon, like, I know they're going to add a whole bunch more classes. So, I don't want to play with the, like, kind of bunk setup they've got right now. I mean, they didn't even quite give out the usual suspects, because they're handing over the Man-at-Arms, the, like, the Bandit Outrider guy, the Grave Robber, and the Alchemist. So you don't have access to the Vestal from the usual suspects team comp. And not only do you not have the Vestal, you also don't have, like, the Hellion, which is my favorite character. Now, I think the broken character, or the most powerful in the original game, does he come through here? Yeah, I think he'll honor the fact that we're in Firelink now. The broken one, I think, was theoretically the Leper. I never really used him. Well, I didn't use him too much. No, it wasn't the Leper. The Leper's great. I used the Leper. There's the Abomination, is another cool one. No, that's right. The Leper I used the heck out of. It's really good. So here we get the Coiled Sword Fragment, which I believe is just a renewable Homeward Bone, if I remember. Yep. Here we can talk to the Dark Handmaiden.
Fancy that. A lost lamb wandereth in, with nary a peep from the bell. Well, thou shouldst my purpose know. What can this old handmaid provide thee?
And she will sell us, in addition to all of the Artorias gear, because we're looking real abyssal right now, we can get the Priestess Ring, which gives us extra faith. And now we are eligible to use the most absurd broken weapon in the game for our run. for our early, like, no stats run. We also get the Blacksmith Hammer. It's thankfully like a game where we, finally a game where we don't have to kill the blacksmith to get the Blacksmith Hammer. We could get the Blacksmith Hammer in 2, all we wanted. Yeah, it's a 13-13 requirement, so we would have to use the Karthus Milk Ring to swing it. I think it's going to be a better weapon when we need straight-up blunt damage. Yeah, that wall's not real. Here we find the Eyes of a Firekeeper. We've taken these from an alternate version of one of the characters who would normally hang out with us. So this is a secret item that, like, unlocks a secret ending, all sorts of stuff. We mostly just came down here to get one ring and maybe kind of poke around a bit and show off the place. Yeah. It's got the same 4 thrones. You can't offer up ash to them, though, if you've acquired ash in, like, other parts of the game. The Abyss Watchers. Yorm the Giant. Not like I've gotten the ash to give up to these. There's another item down over here. The Hollow's Ashes. Yeah, you can hear the clanking of black knights outside of this. I'm not certain what they're meant to portend. And let's see. You can go up here. I can't remember if there's actually an exit up here. Looks like there is. Yeah, nothing back here. We can get a seed of giant tree from this, which is only relevant if we're dealing with invaders. Generally we are not. This door is not openable in the dark version of Firelink. I'm trying to remember. There's no ladder there. I think this tree thing still works, but I don't think you get anything out of it. Yep, we can read this message from another fellow who also made it up here, and is also noting that this is a pointless place to be. Anything in the rafters? I don't think so. Yeah, the rest of this is just cold and dark. And it's a decent place to farm the Black Knight weapons. But really, we just came here to get a few items, and we've got them now. So, we'll go back to the real Firelink. The concept that you can walk somewhere and wind up in another timeline is tremendously interesting to me. I think there's, like, we all well understand magical stories that involve portals, and you cross through a portal and you're somewhere else. But you can just as easily have a story where you descend a staircase and you're somewhere else, or you round a street corner and you're in a strange place.
Ah, well met.
The forest is often
Ashen
used in this way.
How may I be of service? Gracious, let Iola.
Get some new wares. We have access to blooming purple moss. Could be useful. I'll buy like 10 of that. I don't need charcoal pine bundles. They don't do enough. I think she might have some additional boss gear or something. We've got rings of sacrifice that we can pick up if we want. Ah, she's got all of Gundir's set now, because we killed him. Purging stones, we don't need those. We have access to poison throwing knives. I'm not sure if we had access to that before.
Ashen one.
That's kind of neat. Alright. Anyways, coming over here. I think I might have some... No, I don't have any Estus shards sitting around. We're going to begin the great work of improving the Osiros straight sword. It has a small faith requirement. It requires 12 faith, and because of that 12 faith, we require this extra ring, but now we can wield it, and the attack power of the Osiros straight sword is dumb. So an Osiros straight sword plus 8 hits for 232 plus 22. Our current weapon hits for 291, but this is before we infuse the Osiros straight sword with a raw gem, which we can see bumps it to 270. So it's technically less damage, than the 291 we're getting. It's just that it's like, it's a straight sword though. It's so much easier to swing. Alright, so to take it to +9, we will need 5 more Titanite chunks. That is going to be a ways to come. And so, swap out to that. I need to switch out the Knight's Ring for the Priestess Ring. Notably, we can wield this in one hand, if we want to, with just the Priestess Ring to help us. Alright, let's see. And now, this puts us back onto the regular track of the game, so to speak. So we've got a few places to go and things to do. Because we don't need to continue proceeding in Lothric Castle, the Dragon Barracks. We could instead go down to the Profane Capital, or we can work up in Irithyll. It's all free game. I do want to go to places that can reward me more Titanite chunks, however. Which does point us towards Lothric Castle and the like. Let's see. What do we want to work on? We killed everything back here, right? I want to check in here real quick. I know I'm missing a quest link somewhere for Henri of Astora. I don't recall if she shows up here or somewhere nearby. Yeah, people trolling each other, the usual. I don't think she hangs out here. Let's see, because I talked to her at the beginning of the Farron Woods. Then I got through Farron Woods to here. This should be her route, generally speaking. Bloodstain. It's saying try rolling just to kind of suggest, hey, you can have some fun getting through all these chairs. I really don't remember how her plotline connects. Okay. So we can go to Central Irithyll or the Church of Yorshka if we want to continue from Irithyll. The game just minimized itself? I don't know why. Is the game crashing? I can't control the game. Okay, the game crashed. Alright. Well, we'll get back into that. Dark Souls is remarkably good at saving. So that should not be a setback. It might scold me for being shut down improperly. Alright. Let's see the game capture come up. Okay, that's looking good. Weird. Yep. You didn't use quit game. Don't do that. Even then, I know the game updates its save anytime you transition zones. So we transition zones after killing the boss, so we're fine. Looks like it might have lost communication with the Dark Souls 3 game server and panicked for some reason. So we'll just go in offline mode. Okay, anywho. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna progress the Profane Capital. There's a lot of items and stuff down here, some mimics. I can try and get through the Sigurd quest line, and the boss over here is not that hard. From what I recall. From what I also recall, I believe there's a lot of casters around here, and that can be pretty tough. if it's too much too much trouble, I might change some gear back around. So here we have some statues of some kind of lamenting scholars and things. Ow. That's right. I forgot that that flame over there will shoot at us for no good reason. I'm just gonna run through this area. Grab a bit of loot. Yeah, we've got a lot of these figures around here, kind of standing in dedication, and a lot of corpses. We've also got a lot of, like, gold and silver and goblets and junk. This is how it is that the castle, this is why this is the Profane Capital. Ow. Yeah, he kind of uses that wing to block. That's enough out of you. So the Profane Capital is a place that was brought down by its greed and kind of succumbed. We've got these figures who look very much like the Irithel jailers. I think one of these statues is going to come down and try and give me a piece of his mind. Let's see. Doing good so far. I actually forgot the boss is this close in the Profane Capital. I remember there being a lot more runaround. So I am missing big swaths of this area. Yeah, this stops shooting at me when it's not managed by like a cadre of folks. So yeah, the boss is through there. But I believe there's a good bit more to do around here, rather than going straight to the boss. So notably, there's that group over there. You might think you can loot this chest while they're like not paying attention. But almost every chest in this entire area is a mimic. So we're just going to go ahead and equip our mimic looting charm. That one's not a mimic. Go figure. Grab that, and I will promptly get killed. Oh, whoops. So that one's a mimic. And the one next to it, also a mimic. You all aware it's very difficult to loot things when you're running around like this? Ow. Excuse me. Oh, Mimic is going... Ah, shoot, he went... He woke back up. Alright, we'll just take our death and move along. So, I am missing something here. There's a spot around here where I need to go interact with Sigurd. I think it might be down this way. So the boss of this area, Yorm the Giant, has a pre-existing relationship. Okay, there's the staircase. There's the ladder we went down before, so it's not the direction I want to go. Has a pre-existing relationship with Sigurd of Katarina. They're apparently old friends. And so it is Sigurd's goal and his quest to kind of bring Yorm back to his senses and make him acknowledge his responsibility. But in order for all that to work, I have to remember how to get into the other segment of the Profane Capital. Is it across here? Okay, here we go. Leave this spot. It's full of all sorts of crumbling things. I can hear something scuttling beneath me. There's a very unpleasant enemy type here. It's like a hand creature. I suppose a hands creature might be more accurate. Take out some of these guys. I think one of these directions has, like, a ladder I can kick down. Okay, it's not this one. This has an item I can grab, and I can jump down to stuff. Oh, that's right, it's more of those skittery guys from the Untitled Capital. Yeah, so there's all that stuff. Up over here, we have a lootable guy, or a rusted gold coin. Yeah, there's various holes you can fall into. That'll just kind of put you down in a mucky swamp with a whole bunch of bad guys. And the game's going to give you several chances to make that mistake in this little hallway. So let's see. I believe my goal here is more or less... there's only a few instances of solid ground to make use of here. As I'm trying to get through that. If you fall in any of those other segments, you're going to wind up like in that little cave area. What we want to do here is make sure that we use the solid ground to avoid taking toxic effects. And then we want to make sure blooming purple moss clumps are on our hotbar. So that we can kind of move between these little islands without getting horribly wrecked. And these guys still die about as easily as they did before. Not much to them. And we'll come over here, up this ladder. And I think when I get to the top of this ladder, something's going to try very earnestly to give me a bad time. Okay, it's not quite the top of this ladder. It's a little further in, I think. There's also like a caster around here, maybe another ranged guy. Yeah, we've got these sleeping, horrid monsters, basically. There's a bonfire not far from here, and I'm trying to remember where it is before some jerk like that randomly kills me. Yeah, he's casting stuff. Okay, this is back in the Untitled dungeon. I got a little spooked by the new zone noise, of all things. Okay, yeah, this is the segment of the Untitled dungeon that's got the giant. And we've got the jailer's key ring, which should give us access to a few extra spots. Oh, and there are jailers here. Just to, like, complete this scenario. We can drop down there, it's just probably a bad idea, like it always is. So if we drop down there, we're inevitably going to have to fight the giant. There's also a bunch of rats. No, we're dead. Yeah. Taking the hit from the brand has an incredible amount of hit stun, and they'll just follow it up with that stamp into the floor. I was trying to get him to throw out that move so I could dodge it. I lost the game of patience when I took a swing. So that is half on me. Okay, so let's see. I think I could run past a few more things this time through. That is accessible in some way. Let's see. I think to access that, I have to, like, step out somewhere and then get back up somehow. Oh, I see. That's accessible by taking this ladder up and then moving along the outside. Right? Is that it? Here we go. Oh, it's just by taking this ladder up. It's a different ladder than I thought it was. Yeah, we went down that way the first time, right? That's the difference. Yeah, so we need to go left, then through here, then on the right, because there's a hole at the top of that stairs. Stamina needs to come back, then back over this way. And here we are. And I'm just going to sprint past this stuff, so I don't have to wait. Then we get up to the top of this. Okay, so this time we don't really want to run into the section with the jailers. I'm going to see about cutting through here. I don't remember the trigger for waking this dude up. I think he will... Okay, he just wakes up by proximity. That's a mimic. We'll come back and deal with that later. I'm going to tag this. It's just junk. Is one of these walls fake? No. Are you sure? Hey, buddy. You are very much here. And very freaking weird. It's like way too many fingers, a bunch of teeth. They've got some very dangerous attacks. But he's pretty slow, so with that, I can get this looted. Should be able to loot this before he figures out those stairs. Court Sorcerer's Staff. Over here. Got all the Court Sorcerer gear. Neat. Okay. They're actually a pretty cool enemy design when you get down to it. There's like, you can like stun them, flip them on their back. They have some unique stunned animations and things. Okay, that guy's got a bunch of poise. Got it. I need to treat him a bit more seriously. Our next goal is to take out that guy and explore this roof area. I believe this roof area will connect me to the spot where I need to meet up with Sigurd. Oh wait, this is the wrong way down, because that leads over there. I need to take the other way down. Pretty sure. Yep. Yeah, so after you've interacted with Sigurd here, there are two reasons to do this. One reason of interacting with Sigurd here is you can get him to help you out in fighting Yorm, the giant, the boss of this area. That's not really important to us. Yorm's not a challenging boss. The real reason we are doing this is because we get a Titanite slab for doing this little quest chain with Sigurd. Siegmeyer. Also, he's a cool dude. That's right, it's Sigurd in DS1. We're actually working with Siegmeyer of Katarina, aren't we? No, I have it the other way. It's Siegmeyer in Dark Souls 1. This is Sigurd. Okay. Hup. Climb back up here. Top myself off so that my Lloyd rings are active. So this caster up at the top of this church, I call him a caster, yeah. He's got two weapon sets going on. Ow. Ow, and a special flamethrower attack on one of them. I just get a little bit of... Okay, let me just grab this for a bit. Poison arrows. You know, that is not a bad idea. I could always try to kill this guy with poison. That is a spot I can jump down to get, I think, a pretty cool item. Yeah, he will unfailingly switch out weapons. There we go. Okay, now his health is pretty reasonable. There we go. And we get Logan's scroll, which is pretty fancy. Hup. And this is what we really were here for. What we're really here to do. Just to jump through this window. The old cell key, the oldest cell. There's a covetous gold serpent ring, which can get us better item drop rates.
You are a saint. Once again, you are my valiant savior. I, Siegfried of Katarina, express my deepest gratitude. Take this.
Titan Knight slab. So you can actually see where he is. If you this is the room with the giant. So if you head down at like hanging out at the giant's toes and you don't get murdered, you can see this view of Siegward. Jump down here, grab this. The Wrath of the Gods spell. Neat. Okay. See, our business on this detour, I think, is largely done. I'm trying to recall if there's much else we need to do here. Not really. Oh, Wrath of the Gods is like a super potent miracle. It like calls down this rain of flipping arrows. Super dangerous. I'm trying to figure out how those jailers showed up before. They just like show up out of nowhere. Anyways, I'm gonna head down here and try my hand at grabbing some of these items without immediately dying. That is a mimic. Everything's a mimic in this area, basically. In this area and the Profane Capital, both. See, I think the giant might have gone back to sleep, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the jail and the Profane Capital were really tightly connected. Okay, where does this put us, actually? Not illusory wall. Lightning bolt? Yeah, that would put us back in the area with the bunches of guys from before. Let's see. Oh. That was a bad choice. Well, I'm pretty stuck with it now. Ow. He shot me because I wasn't looking at him. He's a very needy guy, you know. You don't pay attention to him, right in the back. Okay. So the thing I want to do right now is actually take another look at the areas below here. I know I've missed some items. There we go. I'm not 100% on if I can survive the fall. So, let's see. I can't really equip the silver cat ring without removing something really good. Let's see. Is this livable? Yeah, it is. Okay. The best attack on all straight swords is the rolling stab. Like, absolutely. Just grab that. It's a pretty big spell for pyromancers. And I'll take this elevator because I don't remember where this goes. I think this is like a shortcut opening thing for this one. We don't have any other actual business around here, apart from, like, finding a few odd secrets, most of which are not important to our run. There actually is one other thing to do around here, which is that I can get back into that old cell, but I believe that's only good for an Estus shard, which we don't really need. Because if we need to heal more than 10 times during a fight, we deserve to lose anyway. So we're going to go after Yorm and get him cleaned up, which is not a big deal, all said and done. A lot of challenge modes for this, like, some people will tell you that it's not a real run if you don't put some extra restrictions on yourself for this upcoming fight with Yorm. Because the fight itself is, like, not designed to be super hard, and a lot of people would say it. Some people might say it's not within the spirit of things. Furthermore, what's it called? Sigurd will appear to help us without actually being conjured up as a summon, which in some cases may be a contravention of the no summons rule. I don't really care one way or another. If the boss is a gimmick, let's just, like, gimmick our way through it and call it done. If Sigurd dies, he won't show back up to help you again.
Yorm, old friend. I, Siegfried of the Knights of Katarina, have come to uphold my promise. Let the sun shine upon this Lord of Cinder.
So you can technically fight Yorm with a regular weapon, but it's inadvisable. What is advisable to do is come over here, grab the Storm Ruler, and we need to equip this once we can find it in our dang inventory. Should be under Greatswords. There we go. And with the Storm Ruler in hand, you take the stance until it glows, and then attack, and you do that much damage to Yorm the Giant. Sigurd also has his own Storm Ruler, so we're going to bust out some crazy damage. Boss is in phase 2 now. I didn't let my stamina recover, so the game was getting a little confused. So if we don't do this with Sigurd, it's marginally more challenging. We have to actually, like, stay safe between charging swings. Oh, we already had it charged. I thought I didn't have it charged. Yeah, I guess it stores charge between all the rolls and stuff. But anyways, that would be Yorm the Giant, and we acquired the Cinders of a Lord. We have our last conversation with Sigurd.
It seems I am in your debt once again. My thanks.
So if you opt to either not fight with Sigurd, you get, like, kind of the vanilla attempt at that run, at that boss. If you try to fight the boss without Sigurd and without the Storm Ruler, it becomes a fairly challenging, exceedingly long boss fight. The boss has an incredible amount of health, but is specifically vulnerable to damage caused by the Storm Ruler's special ability.
To do really after a nice toast. You are a true friend. Best of luck with your duty. Well, the only thing. You are a true friend.
So I'm going to light this bonfire, but rather than teleporting away immediately, I'm going to walk out of the room. And if you kind of keep your look fixed on Sigmar, or Sigurd, there's a point. Yep. Where he conks out, goes into death animation. You get the souls for his death. And you can loot another Storm Ruler, his shield, and his full armor set from his corpse. There is no way for him to survive beyond this completion of his duty. Once Yorm is dead, so is Sigmar. Okay. This brings us back all the way, pretty much, to Irithyll. Let's see. I think I'll be looking for a deviation from the Church of Yorshka. So we moved onwards from the Church of Yorshka to get to the jail. We're actually going to be turning back now to go a different direction. Henri still isn't here, so yeah, I don't remember how that all picks up. So let's see. I know that we need to get kind of back into this stuff over here. It's like a whole big courtyard area going on. Let's see. I'm gonna have the round shield at the ready whenever I remember how to get to the boss. Yeah, can't open it. We can kill people through it. Don't you know, gates and things don't block swords, obviously. Okay, so we've got a caster in either direction that we're looking at here, which is just a huge bummer, really. Yeah, I'm not going to be polite. You guys give me so much trouble through here. So in terms of the number of swings we can make there, it's noteworthy that this weapon is like faster, has more reach, and requires less stamina than the weapon we were using previously. Is that the procession of the guys who I saw earlier? Somewhat, yes. Lightning gem if I want to make a lightning weapon. Oh look, that's illusory. Isn't that handy? I think that's the first time I've had an enemy reveal an illusory wall for me. Let's see. Ah! He pulled back to do the attack. Ow! Yeah, that thing flings you. It's pretty cool. Alright, there we go. Now that he's dealt with, this entire scenario is a lot less dangerous. Especially if that guy wants to keep his shield up that much. There was another one of these guys around earlier, and I don't know where he went. Let's see, I need to remember how to get up higher in this whole, like, area. Let's see. Yeah, this is, that item there you have to drop down to get. This is a one-side open that, like, is a shortcut to get somewhere else. Large Titanite. It might be that I need to go down there. in order to get up, but I forget how to connect to that. Is it from underneath? Maybe my progression is through the Church of Yorshka on the other side. Oh yeah, and that's a boss fog door. Neat. Yeah, that stuff doesn't connect. One thing I do appreciate about Dark Souls, I'll bring it up again, there's a lot of visual navigation. As you can often see somewhat how the different buildings and places connect, and it can give you a good idea of where you actually need to go. Okay, looks like what we need to do is kind of go through the Church of Yorshka, but like under things, and then like reconnect. So I think that's going to be over this way. Okay, so going straight forward puts us through the dark room and then into the kind of catacombsy area. Get out of here. Not the catacombsy area. It puts us in the river. I didn't think I was supposed to be looping back from the river. I'm going to check the permutations over here again. So what I remembered is on the left, I run into dogs. That way leads to the dark room. So I know the dogs are a dead end. Was there something else back up here? No, there's only the one way forward here, right? Okay. In that case, let me go ahead and warp over to the crypt. So I think I'm mistaken about how I need to progress. And something is preventing me from using the bonfire. This is like some enemy that's insistent. Might also be a loading thing. There we go. The bonfire wasn't actually making noise. I think it's that the game had not like fully loaded the bonfire. I think I have this installed to a hard drive instead of the solid state computer. So my solid state was running out of space. Okay. Yeah, I think I moved down here when I got here before. Yeah, I think what I need to do is go back up into kind of the manor area, which is through here. And there's this bit that makes you deal with all the spooky guys, kind of. Because I don't quite think I can outrun these enemies. But they have the most awful turning radius, just simply terrible. And then I can run in here and up this way. Okay, and this puts me back at the point where I rendezvoused with Siegmeyer. And then this is the room where there's a Dark Knight opposite me, and there's a Dark Knight up in the rafters. So if I linger, I will get shot in the back. And then I would show up out here, being chased, apparently. Oh no, these are Silver Knights. Black Knights don't use the electric attacks. Londor Pale Shade. Oh, you jerk. I'm embered. Yeah, this dude's an assassin. This is the spot I had actually seen from up at the church but I'm going to have a very hard time. Like, I would love to slow down and navigate that, but dealing with the Pale Shade will give me a really, really hard time. Okay, but that is the direction I need to go. Which is a pain in the neck, because it's very much between two different bonfires. But I'm very close to opening a shortcut with this direction. Consequentially, I could continue progressing over at Londor Castle and go back to fighting the Dragon Slayer armor, which would put me on the route for the Twin Princes. Which also has to get done. Ow. I guess we're doing it messy. Get out of here. I only have so much patience to take the same area slowly multiple times. So we're just gonna move on through there. This bit I can pretty much run through. I think the Black Knight was not actually following me when I got to the troublesome section. I'm taking this spot running along this side so that the knight up in the rafters doesn't have an angle on me until I step out over here. Like, the shot is let loose shortly after I make that little move. Quick step over there, puts him out of the way a little bit. Oh, he was still following. Okay, I probably need to kill this Silver Knight then, if he's going to follow me into this segment with the dogs. I was trying to get the dogs to come into the corner and hit them with a preemptive attack, but the dogs also just decided to run around in circles for a while. Like, any minute now, they'll show up. They did not show up. So I could be approaching this little waterway segment from either side. Both are about equally annoyingly far away. This is just one of the treks in Irithyll that happens to be a bit more on the annoying side. Okay, got this guy getting up at that point. I've got another one of them that's gotten up behind me, and that one there. Trying to see if I can do this faster and less annoying. Yes and no. Thank goodness I can two-shot those things. Does Estus Stoop restore my Estus Flasks? No, it's just un-Estus Charge that's sitting in the environment. Which is nice. I could have sworn the first time I did this, I didn't actually tick off this one Black Knight that's staring at the painting. I'm assuming that is because I walked. Yeah, if you walk, he doesn't get annoyed. Okay, there's more of them up here. I don't want to deal with all that junk, man. It's too much. Like, it's doable if it's important, but is it important? Probably not. Okay, come at me instead of barking. So the damage from these magic darts is annoying, but it doesn't stagger. So there's that, which is nice. Unfortunately, it does have fairly good tracking, and these guys will just kind of stand here doing that. I need to get more distance. Shoot. Yeah, this particular gauntlet just has one thing after another. I might want to try using some items here, like some ranged attacks. It'll take too long to throw a bomb, but I could maybe work in some kukri. That might help. We'll see. I don't want to be making this run anymore. Let's see. make sure I don't stay up too late. I've got a very busy day tomorrow. I've got to drive into work. I need to return an old modem to Cox. So I need to make sure I'm not too far back or I lose the... I finally got killed by these goons. I need to drive into work, return an old modem to Cox. I got to go out to vote because I have not gotten myself out of the house to do that earlier, which I should have just done today even, but didn't do it. Gotta do it. And I need to do groceries, so it's a very errand-heavy day. Alright, I think I don't need to head to the right, and I can avoid triggering that other one. So that guy wakes up with a weirdly big aggro radius compared to the others. But if I just go this way from there, dodge in past this one. Yeah, the roll stab does inflict less damage than an ordinary attack. But it's just so fast and easy. There we go. Okay, now that that whole thing is dealt with, I just need to run across this room and then walk past the Silver Knight, who's at the portrait. Now, the Irithel slaves, because they are, like, invisible, can't be locked onto in order for me to throw stuff at them, which is a pain in the neck, because I'd love to just fill them full of knives and call it a day. What we'll be using the knives for is going to be the frostbitten dogs. Because this set of dogs are normal. Well, normal-ish. They look horrible. Ah! It's just the fact that there's two of them at a time, you get hit by one. This particular brand of them have, like, I think they have more lunge or less downtime or something. It's just harder to, they don't sit around as much after I dodge them. So it's harder to set up what I need to do here. And this is basically just a section with like 3 packs of dogs in a row with some casters in between. And you can't run past dogs in this game. There's no way. I think I need to be just taking a side dodge on the dogs and like side and forward. I'm just trying not to get into like the threatening range of something else. Like when the first dog runs at me, I don't want to roll into the attack that the second dog is about to do. And that's the thing. I'm trying to back up so the first dog throws out an attack. But they're just staged out enough that it's giving me trouble. I think if I throw a knife like right in its face, it might stagger it. Kukri can hit decently hard. Oh, right. Stop running when you get through this section. Start running again once you're past that little door. Okay. First set of dogs. See, that actually takes a while to throw. I suppose that makes up for the fact that Kukri are somehow a throwing weapon. Which is like a generally unexpected type of thing. Ah! I need to be at full health so that shenanigans don't happen. You know, this is maybe a good use case to see if I can get some value out of an Alluring Skull. So I think an Alluring Skull might trigger the dogs. Yeah. They didn't care about that for very long, but it was fine enough. Whoa! Yeah, he was also allured, but they don't last very long. If there is another pack of dogs... Is this just casters? How many? Okay, I can see two. I'm like listening out for other footsteps just in case. Okay, here we go. So this elevator should get me a shortcut, finally. Yeah, because this is one of the doors that I couldn't open before. There we go. Now we have a shortcut between these two areas. Now, if we have to use that shortcut, I'm not sure if we can make that run straight up without alerting any of the dogs. We might still have to fight some of them. So let's try not to die. Top off to activate the Lloyd items. Ladder back up. Okay, that way we don't have to deal with these guys like shooting stuff at me. Some of these corpses are set to drop onto you. Like this guy's just set up to drop onto you if you grab the item in that corner. That's his entire purpose. Dark Souls 3 does not have as many traps as Dark Souls 2, but it's got a couple. Good, that one's safe. So that's the area we were at before. So this should put us into the higher level. Yep, this guy's actually reasonably tough. In terms of like attack pattern, not in terms of just actually killing him. Because killing him's not that big a deal. Okay, so there's the drop down to get that item. We're not super concerned about that, naturally. And we've got the boss fight door through there. I want to check and see if there's another shortcut nearby. Ow. Give me the kick animation like I wanted. There we go. Yeah, I think there was another shortcut that I can open around here. Like, yeah, there's this gate. Just have to not get killed by, like, these two embarrassing goons. And now I can open that, and now I can get to this boss fight from the Yorshka? From the church bonfire. There's an ember in case you need it. Okay, this is another boss where parrying is highly effective. I'm going to try and remember how to parry him. Might take a couple tries. Late. Yeah. It's a pretty cool fight if you don't use the parry strat. The parry strats can like make really quick work of the boss in perhaps an uninteresting way, but we're not about interesting, we're about winning. Let's see, this sit down, we've taken out Osiros and the we've taken out Osiros. The linebacker guy, forgetting what he's called. Champion Gundyr. Took out Osiros, Champion Gundyr, and Yorm. I I believe I can enter this door without alerting either of those guards. So if I can take out the Pontiff, that'd be 4 bosses in a sitting. That's pretty good. Dark Souls 3 doesn't have as many bosses as Dark Souls 2, from what I recall. Too late again. Ow. This guy takes a lot of delayed swings. And I can't remember how they all work. I need to just get this early parry. I'm very surprised that I'm getting the parry too late. Maybe I am doing it too early. Because I had said earlier that the late parries I usually just take the full hit, and the early parries I usually get the protection. And I'm getting the hit stun protection. I can't picture doing it any later than I am. I vaguely remember that the setup for it is about, like, being on the steps. It's like, you're gonna get the parry a couple steps into being over here. Okay, I'm remembering now that he has a lot of attacks that'll whiff over my head. Just gotta watch out for the blue sword. Ow. Don't appreciate the knockdown, buddy. Okay, that one got me. You can see from the fact that I only hit him a couple of times and he took an incredible amount of damage. The boss does not have a lot of health relative to our current weapon level. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even casually, I'm gonna beat Yorm with the Storm Ruler every time. I think there's some merit to fighting Pontiff without trying to parry him at least once, so you know what the fight is kind of like. But yeah, if you're on SL1, just figure out the parry strat, honestly. Like, the first time I ever beat Gwyn SL1 in Dark Souls 1, I beat him without parrying him, because I didn't know how to parry him back then. When I came back and did my recent run, I learned the parry strat, and it's, like, so much easier to get the work done. There we go. Yeah, I was going way too late. You need to parry him while he's still, like, only halfway done with flying through the air. Okay, it was too early on that. That particular sequence I might need to learn. I think his ordinary overhead swing with the fire sword is my other parryable attack, or the one that I need to focus on parrying. Let's see. Yeah, so I was going too late, actually, and I need to parry him while he's still kind of in midair. I was trying to parry him when he gets to me. Yep. Yeah, that is a bit of a trouble. I mean, some of these fights, the parry strats, when you get them right, they feel like they're a good addition to the fight. Like, if you manage to work in parries against Twin Princes and the Abyss Knights, it feels pretty good. And I think that's because not everything they do is parry. Okay, that was way too early. Not everything they do is parryable. that was a bad thing to attempt, and that was too early to dodge. Yeah, I think that's correct. Like, if the first order optimal strat is a boring strat, that's kind of lame. That was actually something I really appreciated in Metroid Dread. All of the bosses, or at least a lot of the bosses, have a couple specific strats to kill them way faster. Oftentimes involving like some specific sequences, or some special attacks or things like that, that can cut down on the number of cycles that you need to fight the boss for. But all of those strats that kill the boss faster are also like cooler and harder to execute. So there's not a case where you want to cheese the boss by like standing in a specific area and just like murdering him that way. It's always like, okay, he does this specific attack, and you use that opportunity to like charge up a thing. Okay. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. He did the phase transition, but he did it after killing me. So the parry in like 1 or 2 attacks puts him into the second phase. That's noteworthy. I think that the way to do the fight is actually one of his attacks shortly after waking up is also going to be parryable. And that's another parry timing I need to learn. Yeah, so that was actually something I felt was pretty cool about Dread, is that the best ways of navigating the game and killing the enemies look really impressive, as well as being like the optimal fast way to do things. I should have that down at this point. Okay, nope. I think I might have been able to parry that last attack he did. I got a little, after he stood up, I was like waiting for him to do something, and I was getting a little off kilter with that. The waiting moments are the worst. And that's why I think like parry strats and things like that are still legitimate, is you still achieve internally the tension of like waiting for the right moment to execute what you need to. And I think that's going to be evident as well for the Twin Princess fight. The last time I was doing Dark Souls 3 SL1, I didn't beat Twin Princess. That's where I got stuck. Okay, I was like still hearing him, so I was getting weirded out. This time I'm not going to move behind him and see if that makes his behavior maybe a little more consistent. Yeah. The Pontiff's individual attacks have a huge variability in their speed. And that's really what makes this fight decently challenging. I might need to like watch this fight in a breakdown to properly understand what I need to try to do. It's one of those cases where I don't have a lot of opportunities to experiment regarding his attack patterns. I've been thinking what I should do when I inevitably get stuck in the middle of the DLC is I should manipulate the save file and create 2 branches, and in one branch I'll level up so that I can like scout the bosses while I have more health. I'll just consume all my boss souls, turn that into levels. Dang it. Taking out the Phantom would put me in a really good state. So that time I actually just kind of stopped trying to parry and instant spike in performance. But I lost my patience with the second phase. Like, I could have taken that slow, but I didn't. Ultimately, like, this is something I've done before, and I have a lot less patience for things that I have done before. There are times where it feels like new and fresh, and there are times where it's tense and fun. Like, the fight with Gundyr is just a tense, cool fight once you get to the second phase. And I can try that kind of any number of times without getting tired of it. The fight with the Dancer is really cool. It's still a rip-roaring way to start. I know you want to do the thing. Dang it! He killed me in one shot. I had already killed his Phantom at that point. If I had rolled forward through that, I would not have taken that big nasty hit. So I need to be a little more conservative on his phase change before I wait to go in and attack him. I'm going in and attacking him too early, so I'm taking residual damage, and that's putting me in a bad state. I want to have no damage when he goes to summon the clone, so that I can use that as an opportunity to hit him. So unlike other doubles fights or cloning fights or things like that, the clone mimics Sullivan's actions perfectly. So you always can know what the clone's about to do based on what Pontiff just did. That sequence is really, really long. That's a lot of dodges to get correct. I might be able to shortcut how many dodges I need to do by dodging out, but I believe he can end that sequence on a stab. So dodging out is not perfectly safe. I need to dodge out at the right time. So one thing that a lot of people say about parrying, and it's somewhat right, it's a decent rule of thumb. Your goal is to parry the opponent's wrist rather than their weapon. There's a lot of cases where that works. Like, watching the hands of the model of a character is often enough to figure out a parry. Not necessarily in some of these cases. For instance, Gundyr, you cannot watch his wrists. His weapon is like this frickin' long thing, and you're mostly parrying the weapon. Sort of. You can tell when where they are in the timing of an attack by the position of their arms and hands. Because the animations for Dark Souls are just really well done for Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 2 animations I'd like to have words with. Like, I want to find that developer and give him a noogie. Like, seriously, dude, come on. Don't do this to people. My specific issue is just that, like, the Dark Souls 2 attack animations and hitboxes, they're just like trolly. They're antagonistic. That's what I want to say. Yeah, I didn't move far back enough. Okay. It's a 4-hit sequence. I'm trying to figure out, after the parry, where I should position relative to the boss to try and prompt given behaviors. I think the boss has a backhand with the fire sword that I want to try and get the parry off of. So I think it's after parrying him, I rotate to his right, and then I might get another parry opportunity. Let's see. If I get tired of Sullivan, I could go after the Dragon Slayer armor instead. But those are basically the two bosses I'm looking at to progress right now. There's not really anywhere else I could go, unless I want to bum around in the DLC area. That's also a possibility. But that's a whole lot of area to explore at this point. There it is. Okay, now I back up and let him phase transition. I wait for him to stand all the way back up. That's not mimicry, you jerk. Get back where the Pontiff is. Oh, that's right. The clone is ahead of Pontiff, not the other way around. Right, okay. Tricky. Okay. So that is the 2 counterattacks setup. I also think, while I was attacking him in the second phase, I think he actually went down into critical state for a moment. And if I had landed a critical on him, that probably would have won the fight. But I didn't know that was going to happen, and there was a ghost in my face. So I didn't really know what to do about it. But it's possible that that is the fight. It's parry, hit him once or twice, parry, wait for him to phase transition, beat him up in the phase transition, and then critical finish. Which is kind of like a Bloodborne boss. That parry was a little messy, so I'll appreciate the time to heal, wait for my stamina to come back. I could also be using that time to apply a resin. Dang it. Okay, so he did stagger, but he's just staggering. It's nothing more than that. Let me see about applying a resin while he's doing his phase transition, because I have nothing better to do with the time, and I get a big opening after he does it. And honestly, if I can skip a big portion of phase 2 for this fight, that'd be great. This guy's a pain in the neck. Well, the phase 2 is a pain in the neck. Yeah, so it's pretty much going to be parry / parry / buff slash my buff slash my stamina bar away, and hopefully he'll be dead. Missed the parry. Missed another parry. I could have parried that if I was paying better attention, actually. I went for a swing, so I couldn't parry that. There we go. Get on the floor. Okay, phase transition. His ghost is at like such a sliver of health, man. I can't see him. Okay, cool. He went for the summon again. There we go. That's the boss fight. That was a pretty messy rendition of the boss fight, but we got there, and that's all we need to do. Whew! Okay. And I have dealt with enough pretty tense enemies that I am actually pretty worn down at this point. So we're going to be calling it there for Dark Souls. But I'm going to be back online in just about 10 minutes or so to boot back up Inscription, and we'll keep going forward on that, and you can kind of see what we're up against now in that game. So, back in 15. I hope you keep wandering with me.